Happy Thursday. All right. We'll give everyone a chance to get their notifications. We have a lot going on. I'm going to be pulling in and channeling the Galactic Council of Nine, who I've been regularly channeling for you for multiple years, and tried and true predictions and information there. I hope you got a chance to see um, August 2023 predictions because they were incredible in terms of like just kind of shedding some light on some things going on. Are you having a happy day? Also wanted to give you a chance just for a moment while people are coming on to talk about our free offer. About a couple times a year, I offer readings for free only for Patreon members, and I've got that linked above. And this particular offer is limited. Right now, it's for August only. I don't know if we're going to extend it beyond it because so many people are taking advantage of it. I don't want to burn myself out, but as long as I'm enjoying it, August will be the time frame. It may go longer. I'm not sure yet, though. If you are a brand new ever, I mean, first time ever, not gone for 6 years and came back, Patreon, but brand new first time ever Patreon member, or if you're a loyal member for June, July, and August of 2023, those are the two qualifying factors. If you are one of those, get in touch with me from your Patreon account only, not in chat, not in email, not anywhere else, just from your Patreon account. Shoot me a message and we'll give you a link and you can schedule that for yourself. It's a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying doing those for you. Completely free to all brand new Patreon members. I've got that. I've linked at the top of the chat and I'll put that in the description later. So the Galactic Council of Nine wanted to talk about DNA upgrades for August through September of 2023, as well as unique timeline shift that are causing people to really get out of sorts with some of the pole shifts going on. So the first thing we want to talk about, I knew it was coming, that they would talk about it. I was trying to avoid it. In order to understand what they're saying right now, you need to be able to hold many things together. So you've got a unique timeline that's causing people to develop many versions of truth. And then all of those energies from one version of truth versus even an energy for a version of a lie could be seen as truth for people who are being activated into empowerment. So I'm going to tell you the lie surrounding the Maui fire right now. And we're going to explain it, but you also need to hold it in a way that's like, okay, it's activating someone, even though it's a lie, what they're saying about the Maui fires. There's a lot of interesting things going on, a lot of fears surrounding that. And what the council is saying is that there are a bunch of things going on that are being held together for the effect of that versus just one thing causing it. All right. So a lot of people are under the perception. Here's one thing. There's this thing being people doing a lot of research about certain programs, with certain planes that beam down beams of light. The council is very aware that that is a program that has happened. There have been many man-made scenarios. So people take that and then they take videos from the internet. I need you guys to be really smart to understand what they're saying here. They take the truth of these AI related craft and unique man-made created situations with those craft. They aren't UFOs. They're typically military. And this beam shoots down and starts fire. So that is a truth somewhere else, but not Maui. Yep. Those planes, those things did not cause that according to the Galactic Council of Nine. But what's going on is people are getting activated by that particular conspiracy because that conspiracy awakens people who want to feel empowered. And it's interesting because we're in a polarized world, a very more polarized than ever before. And here we are feeling more empowered by a disempowering theory. So that it's truth and a lie that's activating and melting in. They're showing me like a melting pot of human vulnerability really being expressed so that people can create many versions of something that is both the truth and a lie. So the truth is those crafts exist. That does happen. There are, man-made things happening. Many of you are smart enough to understand that, and you do your research and you know that that's true. And then simultaneously, that is being taken with picked photos around the internet and saying, look at this beam of light coming from the sky, and here it is starting the fire in Maui. When those photos being spread around are actually lies. One of the photos that's really popular, trying to promote this conspiracy theory about Maui, it is a photo of one of those beams coming from the sky, or so it looks from far away. But you need to understand the laws of physics to understand that that's just what it looks like far away when SpaceX took off in 2018. So, truth and lie in the same container. Do you understand how important that is for this unique activation in this timeline when people are dreaming up their own creations, is what I'm being told, dreaming about their own creations, but the creations and thoughts, whether they be from fear or love, it matters not. It's just that you're so powerful that you either can see the truth and the lies, or you create from the fears of the lies, and that activates you into finding your own empowerment. So either way, you're getting activated. So the idea of whether Blue Ring Project caused it, whether aliens caused it, whether the military caused it, by the way, none of which is true, none of which is ultimately true. It's still those theories, even though those photos are wrong, the other photos being spread around. One photo was SpaceX launching in 2018, and the other one was a completely controlled fire at like some sort of oil refinery in Ohio. And people take that and they make some things about it. It's a lie, but it kind of doesn't matter because in your dream time, in this dualistic creation, you want to feel more empowered, so you use that for your activation in this timeline shift. So now let's talk about that. Hold that for a minute. I know it makes people mad because this is like the old you prior to this activation in the old ego structure before your powerful activation that's happening right now. You would say, but it is true. Look at all the things happening around the world. So, of course, this is man made. What if it's true and untrue at the same time? Can you hold that? Because that's the activation coming. True and untrue. Those things exist, but not necessarily in Maui. Can pole shifts cause things? Are those pole shifts natural? Did a pole shift cause the Maui disaster? The council is saying yes. And hold that because other things caused it too, namely our own fears. Namely, the need for a complete start over point for that particular soul collective. And we choose these things. Some people can't even imagine how we would choose something so painful, but you don't see the dream to come. You only see the nightmare you're in when your home is burning down. It's terrible. And these teachings don't take away from how painful that is and how terrible that is to be directly affected. And you want to help someone, pull out your pocketbook and send a fat wad of cash to them right now, not just your meditations and prayers, like really go support. I've got links for you that I could send from people I know who are directly affected. And that is the best way to help them, is to help them get off the streets right now. Right? Because they just lost their jobs and their homes and everything. So these teachings about this activation Do not take away from that pain. It doesn't make it okay. It doesn't condone it. But I need you to hold the truth that so many people are deeply disempowered that they create conspiracy theories in order to re empower an activation. And then you're powerful enough to create something. Okay. If anyone's here right now, can you please link up Brandy's GoFundMe? I know Lightworkers 613 has it on their website. You can find it. If no one has it, I'll link it later. Lily, you're here. If you don't mind going and grabbing it, that would be super. But essentially speaking, I need you to be able to hold how powerful you are, because that is the unique activation going on right now, particularly in relation to Maui. We are giving the opportunity to be compassionate. That is the first DNA activation, is learning what compassion and giving feels like. Because when you've lost your home and you've lost your job, the place that you worked in, and you've lost animals and you've lost people you love, the compassion that's needed is direct. They need a handshake, a hug, you to go over there and help, you to donate money, you to offer a bed, a fresh, warm bed and blankets in your house, right? So versus just saying, well, I'm going to send you some blessings. Like let's go. That I'm being shown these hands holding like this with each other, that we need to hold their hands. So that's the first activation, is compassion. The second activation is learning what powerful dreamers you are, what powerful creators you are, and that things can't happen without our collective thought stream. This is what the council is saying. Things can't happen without our collective thought stream causing it. Looking at the aliens or the military or the government anymore, that's true and untrue at the same time. And if you want to keep looking at that truth of how the government suppresses everyone, you're going to be the next victim of them. Do you understand that powerful activation coming through? If you keep giving that huge collective thought stream of governmental disempowerment, alien attacks in Peru, your power right now, you don't get this activation coming all throughout the rest of August and September, because you're too busy being disempowered by something that someone else can do to you in a dream. The council wants you to create your own dream. This is the activation right now. Do you understand? I know they're throwing a lot at you right now, but feeling vulnerable does not have to mean feeling weak. In this unique timeline shift, you'll notice that it'll feel a little topsy-turvy. Yes, there's a lot of solar plexus work going around, a lot of rebirth, of letting go of, and this timeline shift, it's letting go of old identifications with other people disempowering you and being the cause of your pain and your suffering. Right now, vulnerability gets to be power. That is the unique activation happening as well, is that to admit to yourself, oh, I fall prey to that sort of disempowered victim thinking, and I'm going to go different. I'm going to look differently. If anybody can put in the chat the link to the Lightworkers 613 donation site for people directly affected, that would be super. With the Maui fires, you know what I'm talking about, right? There's some links that you can put up if you're wanting to donate to somebody that's directly affected, just straight to them, not through organizations, straight to them. This vulnerability activation is coming up really, really strongly right now, and that it's okay to manage your energy stream in a way that gives you permission for vulnerability, that gives you permission for self-compassion, that gives you permission for compassionate service, that gives you permission to identify when you are creating from love and when you're creating from fear. Okay? Super, super helpful. That's gonna help you get through this because these timeline shifts are a little bit odd. They're not like the typical timeline shifts that the council brings when I channel, and they will tell me how it physically affects you. There's a lot of relief and physical energy that you'll notice in this activation and timeline shift, that your physical energy will be returning, and that would be a relief. You posted Alana's and six Lightworkers 613 links. I don't see the link. I don't see the link. But thank you. But yeah, it's like you had it and then you retracted the message or something is what it said. Um Maybe YouTube did it. I don't know. I'd say try again if you don't mind. But a lot of people are kind of not trusting their own innate vision, is what I'm hearing from the council. And in that way, it's going to be really important this month that you do trust your innate vision that's there outside of what anyone else is telling you. Because in the midst of all these truths and lies being held in the same container, which is the basis of this month and next month's cosmic energy theme for DNA activation, in the basis of all that, sometimes it's really, it would, the council saying it would be really easy. It would be tempting to want to say, oh, well, maybe I'm wrong. I thought it was from a pole shift. I thought it was natural, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it is the government up to their shenanigans again. It is and it isn't simultaneously. I need you to be able to hear what they're saying, to hold a truth and a lie together, because that's how powerful of a creator that you have been, not just in the Maui situation, but in a bunch of different things. There's a lot of settling down this month and next, according to the council of the Ukraine Ukraine Russia situation, and then an amping up in the Korea situation. No peace at all in relations between U.S. and China. And that's the creation of having peace in one side of the world and complete war in another. We're holding something in an interesting way right now where both a lie and a truth can be very real and very powerful. So powerful that it looks real to people who refuse to get up and go into this next timeline shift. If you refuse to get up and go into this next timeline shift, you are a part of the problem with holding people back into victim mentality, right? So whether that's what the government is up to or not and their shenanigans, what are you going to do? Are you going to continue keyboard worrying about it? Like, know where your unique mitigation power is, and meditating about it is not enough anymore. This is a hands-on situation. What are you going to do? Right? What are you going to do? Some people just want to continue to point all that power towards all of the, because all it does is make you feel vulnerable. It doesn't make you feel good to keep thinking about all the things that the government is doing to disempower you and all the horrendous things, because some of those things are lies and some of those things are truths. Can you hold both of that with me? Are you with me with what the council is saying today? To be able to hold a bunch of lives and a bunch of truths in one container, that this is what the old you would do, would look back and do one of two things. One thing would be look at this and say, oh my gosh, well, why should I awaken my soul? Why should I have spiritual awareness? Why should I work on waking up at all? I should just focus on survival and getting up and going to bed and eating and paying the bills and nothing more. Nothing more. I'll just focus on this flesh suit because the government's going to keep disempowering me. That's where you'll go if you don't understand how to hold the truth and the lies in the powerful creative force that is human. That's one thing that you do. The other thing to do is like, well, I have a feeling that that's one truth, and I have a feeling that there's another truth. I have a feeling that there's one version of truth that might be someone else's lie, and a one version of a lie that might be someone else's truth, right? I have a feeling that it might be all of these pieces of the puzzle, not just one piece, right? When you get that degree of creation, you become the powerful creator to fully access this activation versus going on YouTube to talk about all the shitty things that the government is doing, right? So this involves a higher level of service. Of course, some of those things are happening, and some of those things are just pictures on the internet from an oil refinery in Ohio, and you know, the Elon Musk's launch for SpaceX in 2018. There's a bunch of truth and lies, and you're giving too much power away. Even though the government is involved in someone's truth in that situation, are you going to be a part of that collective? Because that's a spot beam of power to an evil government if you want to do that. Do you understand what they're saying? That's so important. So that's one theme. The other theme is go with the flow. There are so many things changing. And what's holding you back from this particular upgrade is you're still looking for everything to look like one truth the same way all the time. And when you're going with the flow, you let things shift and change like a melting pot of creation. And that's what's giving your bodies relief physically, is kind of like looking at this divine paradox in a way. And that's what returns your sight to you. So many people are saying, I just want to see the truth, but there are so many truths. So many people are saying, well, I'd rather see lies. I want to know all the lies. Learning the lies, that's the council believes that's more of something a monkey can do. Anybody can see the lies. It's so apparent right now. That's obvious to all of us, right? But there's a lot of mental rebirth in this next upcoming equinox as we head into the fall, the autumnal equinox. That lunar energy is casting down a light towards all your shadows and all the ways that you've kept yourself disempowered by continuing to want to be that truth warrior into wokeism. And some of you are going to get really mad at me right now, right? But the truth of it is, wokeism is a truth and a lie at the same time. It's like a truth that turned into a lie that kept you small. So there's a lot of that. The release of wokeism, that's a big theme for this timeline shift. But how this timeline shift will feel like, my goodness, it should feel like a relief. It should feel like you observing yourself going with the flow and looking at all the truths and all the lies, going, wow, what powerful, powerful creators we are. And it should feel like a relief that your own instinctive vision is awakening you and guiding you, that you're able to see all these lies and go, wow. And you're able to see the painful truths as well, right? And just release the fear porn. Exactly. Release the fear porn. Because if you don't, it's got you, and you don't get a chance to feel out this unique activation. This timeline shift is about rejuvenation. Before I got on here, I got the image. They gave me the image of the green man. You know, in Druidism, what that is, it's like a walking tree. So beautiful, freshness, reinvigoration, right? But you got to water your own grass. I got that message deeply yesterday when it was a weird thing that happened to me where I could have looked at all the truths and lies of the situation, but someone manually turned off our sprinklers. Like, what kind of like neighborhood jealous bullshit that is, I don't know. Like, they don't like your grass, what? So they manually turned off the sprinklers in our gardens, and we were wondering why our grass was dying. We're super busy people, so we're not paying attention to like if the grass is like being watered or not. But it started dying, and I was like, wow, does the grass have a disease? Like, what's happening here? And it was like, wow. Well, okay, I have a chance and an opportunity in that moment to think about being mad that someone did that because there's no one in this household, or what, symbolically speaking, is this unique timeline shift offering me? And interestingly enough, the very next day, it rained, it poured. Like today, here where I am, it just poured. It started early in the morning and poured for 3 whole hours. So it was very, very interesting. Right. And just feeling that idea, that concept from the council of how even feeding into fear can manually turn off your connection to the divine. It turns off your communion. Right now, that was a really important message that they gave me about human collective consciousness turning off their own communion with divine truth by giving into the fear, right? Turning that off. It's not, and then you don't get fed, you don't get nourished. And that image of the green man as the totem right now, as we go into this next lunar cycle, you need that. You need to feel fed. You need to feel nourished. You need to be very mindful in this timeline shift where you're placing your attention, not just what you're looking at, but everything you see on TV and whatnot. That's an obvious thing. You know how to turn off the news, right? But it's more of, can you look at things that are painful without falling into little pieces around yourself? Can you look at your fears and your relationships without falling apart in insecurity? That theme is coming up too. Your vulnerability is your power, particularly in relationships this month and next. You know, it's going to be really important that you can understand how to feel vulnerable, how to admit when you feel insecure, how to admit when you feel jealous, how to admit when you feel small without letting that crack you into a thousand pieces, because this DNA activation requires courage. It requires fortitude. It requires strength. It feels really, really different. Most of the DNA activations really drop you to your feet in pain or lift you so high that you're floating around on a cloud. And the council is saying that neither of that is the case. It should feel a little bit more like a relief and like a re-access to your deepest intuition that makes you understand that it's okay to feel vulnerable, that you can face those shadow aspects without being caught up in the lie of the ego, that you can blend light with your own darkness and understand that your darkness can be loved into submission with your light. There's so many things coming around with this timeline shift, but you will notice, as usual, the typical themes in timeline shifting. You will notice time's going slower. In the last timeline shift that we had, it felt like it was just quick and I was losing time. But right now, it feels like a day is like a week, and a week is like a month, and a month is like a quarter, and a quarter is like a year. Right? Is anyone feeling me on that? That feels a little bit different with the way that's coming through with the council describing it. And I'm definitely feeling that a lot more energy in the body, but a lot of kind of like mental fortitude. It takes a lot of mental fortitude to watch time slow down around you. The last timeline shift we sped up, and in this one we need to slow down. Don't be afraid to be vulnerable. Pay attention to that deep innate structure of the soul and what you're feeling in your own soul. Yeah. Yes, there's a lot like slower time. Slow down, sit with yourself. Don't be so busy trying to. Not every activation is the same. This particular timeline shift is about slowing down time so that you can accept yourself, love yourself, apply radical self compassion. Those are the themes, because we've been in a drone like, AI like society for so long, where society's like teaching us, oh, get the next upgrade on your phone, or you're this or you're that. And oh my gosh, you know? I was recently, upgrading my phone, and because it's very, very old, not because I wanted to, but because nothing would work and I couldn't post to you otherwise. That's how long I tend to wait, but this time it died a little bit even shorter. The phone only had like a 3-year time span, and I can typically make it last longer, but I'll go into the Verizon and they're like, "Well, in 2 days, the iPhone blah, blah, blah comes out, so you sure you don't wanna wait?" Why? Why do I want that? I don't want the faster, 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 chop, 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 chop upgrade represented by today's fast-paced AI society. That's not what the council is sharing with us in this unique upgrade and timeline shift. It's saying slow down, sit with yourself, go into solitude for a bit. Right? We've had so many timeline shift that sped us up that made us go manifest, manifest, manifest. Go, go, go. But this is a feminine, more lunar cosmic energy that's pulling us into the sacred self. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. I feel like that movie Toy Story where the little girl looks at it and she goes, "It's so fluffy." It feels a little bit like that where you're seeing things that typically would not capture your attention. And you're stopping to look at caterpillars, things like that. It's kind of monarch season around here where I am. And I have a friend who, takes in the chrysalis and she takes it and she puts it in her home and she's got this little butterfly growing type of situation and then she releases them into the wild, to make sure that they get through the chrysalis period. Well, you're through the chrysalis period, right? You're through the chrysalis period. All right. And now it's time to fly, but sometimes it's time to rest the rings as well and be aware of when you need that rest. You can't lift off if you're continuing to feed so much power into the world of fear. You can't just lift off. So sometimes you need to rest and take some time to rest. That's a big theme right now in this upgrade and in this timeline shift. The cosmic energy requires that you rest. It requires that you will feel so discombobulated because when you try to push through and do the chop, 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 go, go, go thing, just the typical theme of the world. When you try that, it won't work this time. It won't work for you, and you will get discombobulated, a little bit confused. And have you felt that a little bit like, what was I doing? Like that ADHD walking to the kitchen and forgot why you're here feeling? You'll have that towards all your goals if you don't stop and breathe, towards all your creations, artists, channels, healers, if you don't stop and reconnect with that spark within your own soul. Be compassionate enough with yourself to know that you need rest right now. I know you want to go, 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 but that's not what this timeline shift is about. It's about being quiet enough and still enough and being okay in your stillness to sit with yourself, to be okay with your own thoughts. Because how many people can just, when your body says sit down and when these timeline shifts and changes cosmically tell you that you need to sit down, a little bit of Lilith coming through there. She said, you need to sit down, right? But then you sit there and you're like, you're tapping your foot. So now what? I got to pick up the kids at 3. I gotta, I gotta go. But counsel, why? Why do I, but I need things to do. You don't understand. You don't have 4 kids. You don't blah, blah, blah. Okay. All right. That's what you've been doing for how many years? Is that working? Right? Is that working? When she says sit down and rest, she means rest this too. Rest this too. If you need meditation, do it. But can you sit without it? That's an interesting theme that they're bringing up right now as well is, can it be possible that you don't need a spiritual modality for this? Can it be possible that you just learn to sit with your own thoughts and go, wow, just look at the cycle in, cycle out of, oh my God, did I take out the trash today? Did I do this today? Did I do that today? And oh my God, when is that? I completely forgot about the coaching program. Blah, blah, blah. What time is the lesson? What time is the this? What time did I do that? Did I finish the kids' registration forms? Right. Because school's about to start. Parents out there, you know what I'm talking about. So much to do that first week, right? So many things just going, 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 going. That's what AI would have you to be. But you are holy. You are beautiful. You are exactly as Source created you. And Source didn't create you to be robotic, to be chop, 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 do, 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 go, go, go. Because even if your life is that way and it can't stop, if we don't take at least 5 minutes here and there to just settle our consciousness, settle into the soul. One of the practices that the council's been giving me for years now is to imagine me being within the cosmic mind, like a pyramid temple here, and I'm in that cosmic mind. I'm not looking at it. And I am a flame within the cosmic creator, within the mind of cosmic creator. I am a beautiful flame. And I will say this: I am holy. I am free. I am as source created me. I am holy. I am free. I am as source created me. That is my favorite invocation, to imagine the temple of source. If you're an Egyptian, you can imagine the times of Isis. You can imagine the Giza temple, anything that's beautiful for you. And just say that I am holy, I am free, I am as source created me, over and over. And imagine becoming that flame within the mind of cosmic creator that cannot be put out. Imagine just being that, feeling that, not being warmed by it, not looking at it, being it. Keep saying that until you feel it. And as long as you're saying that, the thoughts aren't there. The go, 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 go just slows down. So that's a really quick process that reminds me of my true self. That's something that the council gave humans a long time ago, and someone picked it up and put it into ACIM. Right? I believe that's where it went, but that's something so cosmic that's been around for millions of years. Yeah. Oh, I love that. Jen Santi said, I'm too blessed to be stressed. Yeah, but don't bypass. That's another thing I'm hearing as well. Like, some people just look at this as like the power of positive thinking. Um, what you're feeling needs to be investigated as well. But what you're feeling is a lot different than, I feel bad that I didn't pay that bill on time, or I feel bad that my neighbor thinks this of me, or is my partner doing this or doing that, or are they going to not love me? All those things. Those thoughts have an essence that need to be held. The essence doesn't need to be transmuted. People have all these really AI robotic words in spirituality, like technology and transmutation and integration. And I'm like, is the soul a robot? Where did that get into spirituality? And the council just knocks that down every time. The council comes in and says, transmutation is an AI technology and you are a heart. Integration and AI technology, and you are a heart. The word technology itself is an AI-based word, and you are a heart. You are holy. You are free. You are a heart, a flaming passion inside of the mind of cosmic creator. Yet where you're using these words that are just like empty. These words are just empty. What does that even mean? Like, when I first started teaching, people would come up and say, can you give me a practice to ground my chakra system? Okay. What does that mean to you? Can you give me a practice to activate my Kundalini? What does activate mean? Let's replace it with a more powerful word that means something to your true nature. Activate. What? Activate what? Are you a sleeping person? The mind is, but you're not the mind. The ego is, but you're not that. So it's really important right now to look at your thought streams during this DNA activation, to look at your words and make sure they're not empty. Make sure they're not just blah, just saying something that means nothing. Right? What does activate your chakra mean? What does that mean? Go deeper with me, because you're not a robot. You're not these fancy words. How do you actually want to feel, is what the council is saying. How do you want to feel right now? Wake up every day and determine how that ego is going to serve you. You tell it how to feel. And when those feelings come up, hold a space of compassion for that. Like, for instance, I love the word elevate instead of activate. Elevate. Oh my gosh, it feels so good. It feels like, I don't know, like the council's giving me an elevator, obviously, but beyond that, when you go up and you are going up to a high-rise building, say in New York, and people have like pools and garden flowers up there, and you feel like you're closer to cosmic source up there. Elevate your thoughts and your words, and then your sacred actions will be so powerful during this particular activation. They will. right? Oh, no, no, no. Someone said this live is making me close my eyes in the middle of Columbia Interstate while texting you. So stop that. Pull over. Pull over, please. The council doesn't want to cause your accident. Right? So what words are you using that really mean nothing? That's something to look at during this timeline shift and reinvent, rebirth. Rebirth. I even like rebirth better than reinvent because reinvent feels a little bit meh as well. um, but it's just this radical compassion that you need right now primarily starts here with you. Start there. Questions. Let's ask questions to the council today. I'll give just a few more minutes, maybe 5 or 6 more minutes for questions before I have to go. Just kicked over my internet. Hope it doesn't go off. Okay. All right. Any questions, just put them in chat. For those of you just coming in, we just did the channeling and now we're waiting on some questions. If anybody has any, sometimes they come in and they're just so clear that we don't have any. Anything for Norway? Yes, as a matter of fact, I will take that one because Norway is a very spiritually evolved country according to the Galactic Council of Nine. So there's a lot of technology that is for plants, for the elements of earth, for ultimate working with these systems. But one of their technologies fails this month, which requires a very quick reaction. Otherwise, there could be an intense flood. So there's some mild flooding instead. And that just shows you how on it their government can be in terms of having these technologies that actually serve humans and earth and animals. Because when something fails, they just go, oops, that failed, but don't be afraid, we got it. So there's a little mini oops there. In one of the council's saying like a dam system. It's like no, I'm not cursing, like an actual dam. Right. So something there. Well, watch out for that. Some mild flooding, not catastrophic, but just you need to be aware of it, that things aren't always, even though the government scientists there in Norway are geniuses, not everything was looked at properly. Something fails. Right. It's not exactly this month. It's more like the first week of September. Oh my gosh. This one says, I've been in pain for months. Is it a sign that I need to slow down? One of the things is we often will say it is or it isn't a medical issue. The pain of suffering and self-sabotage causes medical issues. So it's an ascension symptom and a medical issue. We need to be able to hold that, to hold that energy of it can be this and that versus so many people say it's just an ascension symptom or it's just a medical issue. And both sides of the fence are just people polarizing everything, right? We don't need to keep polarizing everything. We need to learn that it can be both. Is everyone on the same timeline shift? I don't really want to be that cocky to say that my channeling is for every single person in the world. That's not, it's a human soup over here. It's not the way that timeline shifts occur. Some people refuse this timeline shift because they still want the go, 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 me, 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 me. And that is what that's about. And people, it's better that than say mass suicides and deeper problems. So some people are on a shift that is speeding things up because they're about to end game if they don't. They're that tired and exhausted with humanity right now. But for people who are handling this unique timeline shift, it's mostly light workers, mostly the light workers on this shift. But we have millions and millions of light workers on this planet, if not billions already. So it is a big shift, but I don't want to be arrogant and say like every person's on the team. That's not the way it works. That's not the way timeline shifts work. Everybody has different roles that they play. So we can't be on the same timeline shift. Next question. How can we aid humanity in our daily lives? That's such a beautiful protection. And they did use the word protection. That wasn't a slip. They want you to pray for divine protection. They want you to send blessings to understand your power as a spark of divine consciousness. That spark of God within you can pray and send energy. This isn't a religion. Don't get mad when I say pray. I mean commune with the divine. All right. That's how you aid humanity and aid them materially. Take in someone into your home, feed them, send out a meal to a neighbor, donate clothes that you don't need to someone who needs it, right? Um, do physical related service right now because these shifts coming from spiritual communities where people are saying or just meditate or just pray all the time, it also requires a sacred action right now. Let's see if we have any more questions. I felt guided to bless Lebanon. Yeah, then do it. There's some things you can't bless, and it's okay to understand that when you're struggling in your own world, you can't do anything aside from sending money there, right? And how do you know how many hands it's going to go through? Then there's that. Find an ethical charity, of course. But there are certain things like not everybody has money to give. Not everybody has that, and that's okay. This is an example of the council saying, hold two truths in each hand, hold these truths in the same hand. It's not, oh, meditation is useless, or oh, just give money instead. It's both are helpful and find your unique resonance right now. Yeah. Does the council care about each person or as a humanity or humanity as a whole? See, the council sees humanity, each individual as a part of the whole. So this is an interesting question that the ego typically gets really like, but don't you care about me individually? What about my needs? What about me? Right? This is something that we typically do when we're really afraid. And this is something the council is great for to be able to say, you know what? I know you love me, but I ain't feeling the love right now. Talk to your counsels. Talk to them not like you're worshiping them or like they're so high and mighty, but they're your family. And when your family's not holding space for you, it's okay to say so. It's okay to say so. To say, I need your support right now. I know you're helping me serve humanity and do what's best for all this collective consciousness, but I feel like right now. Right? That's okay when you're in that space to be honest with yourself, to surrender, to rest, right? And to ask the council for some unique individual advice just to lift you out of a funk, right? So, this timeline is unique for August and September to answer your next question, and your rest will be required. For me, it's been very much about getting the appropriate amount of physical rest, but for some people, it'll be mental rest from negative thoughts, from shame thoughts. That's coming up really uniquely for a lot of people, the shame thoughts, right? Um, the thoughts of unworthiness need to kind of calm down right now. So when that's happening, that's not you in that ancient activation code. I am holy, I am free, I am as cosmic creator made me. I am as source created me, right? So it's very important to be and become that versus a human that's trying to be different. You're just being and becoming your full divine nature versus saying, I'm going to try to be a more grounded human. I'm going to try to be a better human. I'm going to be try to be a human who blank, 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 blank. And then you're directing the ego. Well, who is the you that's doing the directing? That's just separation, separation, separation. Nothing wrong with that until it's not working for you anymore, right? So be really honest in a deep self-assessment right now. Sit, use that visualization that the council gave earlier. If you need a visualization because you just can't get out of your thoughts, that's completely okay. That's why we gave you that. If you need an invocation, use it. That's why they gave you that, right? So, oh my goodness. And I'm seeing it, people are just slowing down, and in the slowing down of the thoughts in the body, more is actually getting done, because when you go back into that divine spark, like you're carrying that energy into life, and then you notice that even though time does seem to be slowing down, you're still doing a lot of things, and you're like, "How is that happening? How is it happening?" Yeah, yeah. Oh, you want my lipstick shade? Really easy. OG. Yeah, it's not OG. Look at the shade. It's the name of the company, OG. And it is begonia. OG begonia. Yeah. It's very neutral. I'm not into big makeup. I like that. I like it natural. Oh, see, okay, so that's victimhood. They're gonna gently call you on that one, not to make you angry or to hurt your feelings, but to empower you. This one here, she says, I think my resonance with my husband is canceling out the things I want. But that is an opportunity coming up right now in divine couplehood, if you will, that people are looking at that and going, okay, how this is an opportunity for really having no more private thoughts about what he's doing to cancel me out. I'm actually going to talk to him and say, okay, this is the energy pattern that I enjoy for you, and this is the energy that's actually really incompatible with me. These are the actions and energies that you put out that I love, and here is what is kind of just making me want to back away. Be honest with people you love. Be honest and be compassionate is what I'm hearing for that one. Right? This is an opportunity for deeper expansion. Not necessarily that you're going to accept the energy that he's putting out, but that you're going to at least love him and you enough to say, this is squashing me right now. Because that's that feeling I'm getting from you, that the council is saying she feels very squashed, like her light is very dimmed. I know that feeling very, very well, and when I feel that way, I typically will go to people and say, "Okay, when this happens, I feel this, and I know it's my thing. I know it's something I'm integrating that I feel so disempowered around you, but I still feel disempowered, and I love you, and I wanna work on it, and I know it's my to work on." Own it, friends. Own it. It's your to work on, right? Oh. R. Heath says, I've seen signs that I've been like a Ken from Barbie, like a Ken from the Barbie movie, but I think I'm rising above. It's relevant if you feel it. He said, maybe it's not relevant, but that's relevant if you feel it, because in this unique slowing down of time, in this unique activation and time shift, people are slowing down and actually looking at what they feel and feeling into what they think and saying, well, is that true or not? Right? People don't go around purposely trying to squash your energy, and if they do, you know that. You're smart enough to know that, right? And you wouldn't be with them if that's the case, I'm hoping. Right? You would stop that. You would recognize that they're intentionally squashing your energy, which is a completely different answer from the council when you put it that way. But most people are just trying so hard to hold on to power that they come across angry and come across chaotic, and they come across like, "Ugh, the shit I'm gonna do, and I'm so tired. I do this or I do that, and I do." Yeah. And that feels threatening to people who want to slow down and who need softness right now. So it's okay if someone in your household, if you just go up to them and say, okay, I need you to slow down. I need you to calm down. Um, I know this is my problem, but I feel very threatened by that energy. I know this is my to work on, but I feel this way when you do that. And I know you're not trying to hurt me. I know you love me, and I know I love you. Let's work it out. Right? This is the timeline shift that you could be doing that this would be a really important time before this next lunar energy comes up to have work through this stuff, because the next lunar eclipse is going to be darker than usual. So we need to really work through this, because you don't want to pull this into that and then get into dark night of the soul. We need to work on this now. while the energy is very soft and supple and vulnerable and sweet. This is a very sweet feeling. It's a time for compassion. It's a time for softness and healing in this timeline shift. Yeah. Right. And again, I'll tell you, like I told my students today in a channeling of Isis, she came through and she goes, "Now, this is not your permission to be an a-hole." Honest communication does not mean that you get to be abrupt or that you get to be snarky or that you get to be like, "Why do you do that?" Like it's not that kind of approach, but more of the approach of, "Thank you. I love you. I'm feeling upset. Can you hold space for me?" Right. I'm feeling upset. Can you be here with me right now? Because there's something that I can't get through and it's blocking my connection with you. And I want to be connected with you so badly. I want that. Help me get that back. Have you ever gone to someone you love and say, "Help me get that communion back. Help me get that connection back because I deeply desire it and I love you." That approach is better than, "Stop doing that, would you?" Right. It's just it's more elevated in its consciousness, is it not? Right? Um, yeah, and this is a true and untrue thing at the same time. Someone else in chat said, "I feel like I'm healing age-old family patterns, like beyond just me." Is it true? It's true, is what the council says. And what now? Do you want to be stuck in that like a grinding wheel at a factory, just moving and grinding yourself into submission and beating yourself up with your shadows? Or you want to finally connect those dots this month because this would be a really good time to be like, "Yeah, my mom did that. Yeah, her mom did that. Here's how I'm not going to do it anymore." And when I know that when I forgive it, my dead mother heals, my dead grandmother heals, my dead great grandmother heals, I know that this keeps carrying, but it stops here. It stops with me. And then after making that vow to yourself, because that's what that is, that's a cosmic vow to heal that ancestral wound in all your timelines. When you say that, it stops with me, is your invocation for that. And then mean it. How do you mean it? By every time you see yourself going back into those old patterns, catch it and say, "No, it stops with me. This is what I'm feeling right now. But it's actually not very real that this pain stops with me. The pain stops here." Do I see anything in Mexico? Let me tap back. Then I got something just last night with Mexico. Insofar as timeline shift for natural disasters, I saw a fire there. And then it was like as soon as they recovered, then there's a flood, but not a bad one, a flood that's cleansing, not something that kills people, like a mild flood that makes farming better. And it's like not like once in 100 years, this type of thing happens where all crops get burned away and not by a controlled fire. But then a gentle flood comes in and they get this monsoon type of energy. Mexico doesn't just get that in the drier parts of it, right? So that's interesting. Um, this is something I've been seeing for a while, but it applies to September in particular. That the council showed me once that the whole industry, not just in Mexico, but many places where there's unethical farming, that shows up this year, where this mafia related and mafia controlled farms actually have to be given back to their true owners. So there is a really heartwarming story. Sometimes they don't just give us bad news. This was a good news event where there's this farmer whose farm got taken over. All of his crops got taken over. His crop, it's just one crop, got taken over by Mexican mafia. and it was given back to him. And the old mafia was killed off actually by like the new police system there that's actually helping people. They went in and they raided that old mafia members, killed him. It's kind of a bad way that it happened if you think about it in a sense, if I'm judging it. But also the farmer and his family were free from mafia control in the farm, and it went all over the news. And this is going to be a theme, and this is just Earth. Sometimes we created a dream that killed someone and then we kill someone else to get back to the original dream. That's just Earth. It's not the way that we would like it to happen, but why not? Like it doesn't make sense that we would be here to begin with, but at the same time, like things happen that we don't understand. That it's like arm for an arm in that sense, but then a whole family stops being controlled, you know? And when I say controlled, I mean big time, like the mafia was coming in and raping their children and taxing them 3 times the amount of what they would typically even get in from a crop. And then if they didn't pull in the crop, they would just like typically kill the farmers and take over their farm because they thought they could do it better. There's a new law that's coming because of this that wipes out mafia control that begins to be initiated into Mexico. Um, and it takes the power out of the hands of cartel. And it's typical, like the council said, the American government would try to come in and claim that they instated it, and they created it, and they helped, but they didn't. It's just Mexico doing this for Mexico, and that's what's so lovely, and that was what was so beautiful. Yeah. So we'll end on that lovely story because I got to get going and um, get into some training for the day. Don't forget about the opportunity for your free Egyptian Akashic Records review reading. I only do these opportunities about once or twice a year, and this is the last one for this year to get a free reading. That's if you're brand new, and I mean brand new ever, not you were a member a month ago and you're coming back, or you're a member a year ago and you're coming back, brand new ever. Members of my Patreon community. The link is at the top of the chat. It's only $13 to join, and you get that free review from me of your Akashic Records. And what I do is I typically go in and look at a place where a pain point is for something you have worked through, what you've mastered. That's the Dharma, and what you're still working on. So a point of mastery and a point of, okay, but you're still working on this. This is the karma. This is the growth point. I have been able to get names of beings. That's been interesting. Most of the people that are coming to me, I can pick up on the name of the being that they were in that lifetime, which I didn't expect that would to be how I'm typically not a name girl, but it's been coming up. And it's been coming up with connecting that lifetime to this lifetime to sort of see what you could look at. So if you want that free Akashic record review, please get in touch with us once you join Patreon. Just shoot us a message from your account and we'll give you a link that you can schedule it for yourself with me. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. Please like and subscribe. It supports the channel. I love you so much. I love being here. Thank you so much for being here. So many people here today, and you're making efforts to come. That helps me so much because I'm a live reader. I don't do any editing. I don't know if you've noticed that in my videos. I don't like editing. I'm just way too busy and for that, and sometimes lazy too, to have to learn a new technology. So I like to show up live. Yes, Maui Humane is seeking help for pets that have survived the fire. So if you guys want to send the Maui Humane Society some help for their pets, please go ahead and do that out of the goodness of your heart. My friend Brandy and Jessica over at Lightworkers 613, you can find their channel, and I'm sure their links will be there here on YouTube and Facebook and elsewhere. They are directly suffering from that. Like one of their home burned down, like like one of their brothers or something lost. Like there's a bunch of things going on in their family with direct impact. Help someone directly that you know is the point. It doesn't have to be this person. Although if you go to the 613 channel, you can find it. But help them if you can. Help someone directly as opposed to always sending links to people. So, from links like to services and organizations. There's so many people that you can find that have GoFundMe's for people that were directly affected, and you can Venmo or PayPal them or whatever. And as usual, when you don't have money, send a blessing, reach out to them, send them your love, all that kind of stuff. Send them your love. Some people don't have money, so they're like, "I'm gonna send you some old clothes because all your clothes burned down." Some people will say, "I'm just gonna send you an Uber Eats for the night," you know? Super helpful for someone who can't afford food because they just lost their whole job building just burned down, right? So anyway, I will see you later, probably this weekend. Um, I love you so much. You're awesome. Thank you for being here. I love the energy that we create together in this portal. And as you go through this unique portal for the rest of the month and next month, I want you to keep in mind the themes of this timeline shift. It's very unique. I haven't seen one like this in a while. So have a really, really beautiful, blessed day. I will see you this weekend. Bye.